Do you know what truly separates successful people from the other 95%? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's habit. The small things you do every single day, they're quietly shaping your future. Take a moment and think. What's the first thing you do every morning? Do you grab your phone, or do you take one step closer to your goal? Here's the truth. Habits can lift you to greatness, or drag you into failure. And if you don't control your habits today, then tomorrow, your habits will control your life. In this video, we'll uncover how to build successful habits. Not the kind you try for a few days and quit, but the kind that rewires your mindset and makes success a natural part of who you are. Watch until the end, because just 1 minute from now, you might discover why you've been stuck for so long and how to finally change it. Starting today! Success rarely happens in one big leap. Instead, it grows quietly through countless small steps repeated over time. When people imagine transformation, they often think of dramatic moments, a promotion, a breakthrough idea, or an overnight success story. But if we look closer, almost every overnight success was actually years of small, consistent habits stacking up. It's these little daily actions, often invisible to others, that create the foundation for lasting achievement. Imagine someone who decides to read 10 pages a day. It seems insignificant at first. 10 pages won't change your life today. But after a year, that's over 3,600 pages, roughly 15 books. 15 books worth of knowledge, ideas, and inspiration can completely reshape how you think, act, and approach the world. This is the magic of compounding habits, where small actions, consistently applied, multiply their impact over time. The human brain naturally seeks quick results. We want to see progress right away, and when we don't, we tend to quit. But building successful habits requires a shift in mindset, a focus on the long game. Think of it like planting a seed. You water it, nurture it, and for weeks you may see nothing. But underneath the soil, roots are growing strong, preparing for a moment when the first green shoot breaks through. That's exactly what happens when you commit to small, positive routines. You may not see instant results, but something powerful is forming beneath the surface. Many people overestimate the power of one massive effort and underestimate the power of consistent repetition. It's not the one workout that changes your body, but the hundreds of workouts done even when you didn't feel like it. It's not one study session that makes you smarter, but the daily learning that compounds into deep understanding. The key is to stop chasing motivation and start building systems that make success automatic. When a habit becomes part of your identity, I'm the kind of person who exercises. I'm the kind of person who reads daily. It no longer requires constant willpower. It becomes who you are. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, wrote that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money multiplies through interest, your habits multiply through repetition. Each small decision adds up, shaping your identity bit by bit. Even 1% improvement each day might sound trivial, but over a year it can make you nearly 37 times better than when you started. That's the quiet but unstoppable force of incremental progress. The challenge, of course, lies in patience. Our world celebrates speed, fast results, instant gratification, immediate rewards. But real success belongs to those who embrace the process. The ones who show up every day, even when it's boring, even when nobody notices. They trust that each small effort is a brick in the foundation of something extraordinary. That's how athletes master their craft, how entrepreneurs build businesses, how writers finish books, through tiny, deliberate actions done consistently. So if you want to build successful habits, don't wait for the perfect moment or massive inspiration. Start small. Choose one habit that aligns with your goals and commit to it every day. Track your progress, celebrate small wins, and remember, consistency beats intensity. Over time, these seemingly minor actions will merge into unstoppable momentum. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come, not because of a single big decision, but because you never stopped taking small, purposeful steps forward. Before you can build a lasting habit, you must know exactly why you want it. Your why is the emotional engine behind every action you take. Without it, no system, trick, or strategy can keep you consistent. People often set out to form new habits, waking up early, exercising, studying, or saving money, only to give up a few weeks later. The reason isn't laziness or lack of discipline. It's because they never built a meaningful connection between the habit and something that truly matters to them. Imagine two people trying to wake up at 5 a.m. One does it because he read somewhere that successful people wake up early. The other does it because she wants quiet morning, time to work on her art, her passion, her dream of creating something meaningful. The second person has a strong why. When the alarm rings and the comfort of the bed whispers, "Just stay," her deeper reason pulls her out of bed. That's the power of purpose. It transforms resistance into fuel. When your habits connect to your identity and values, they stop feeling like chores. Instead, they become acts of alignment. You no longer force yourself to do them. You choose them because they reflect who you are becoming. For example, instead of saying, "I need to eat healthy," tell yourself, "I am someone who values energy and clarity." This small shift from "I must" to "I am" rewires how you see the habit. It changes your relationship with effort. To find your why, ask yourself a few deep questions. What do I really want to achieve through this habit? How will it change my life, my confidence, my relationships, or my sense of purpose? What pain am I trying to avoid, and what joy am I trying to create? Write your answers down. Don't just think about them. Make them visible. When your why is written clearly, it becomes a compass that keeps you on track when your motivation fades. Sometimes, your why might come from inspiration, a dream of becoming stronger, freer, or more fulfilled. Other times it comes from frustration, being tired of feeling stuck, unfit, or unproductive. Both sources are powerful, as long as they push you toward consistent action. The key is emotional connection. When a habit is emotionally charged, it has roots. When it's only logical, it fades. It's also important to visualize the version of yourself who already has the habit you desire. See yourself living that life, confident, disciplined, at peace. Feel what it's like to be that person. Visualization programs your subconscious mind to seek alignment with that image. The more vivid your vision, the stronger your drive to make it real. Ultimately, your why is what keeps you grounded when progress feels slow. It's what makes you continue even when the results are invisible. Think of your why as a fire. It doesn't have to burn wildly all the time, but it must never go out. Feed it with small reminders. A note on your mirror, a photo, a quote, a song. Let it live in your daily environment so you never lose sight of what you're working toward. Building successful habits isn't just about discipline. It's about meaning. Once you connect your actions to something bigger than convenience or social trends, you unlock a deeper form of motivation, one that comes from within. When your why is strong enough, the how becomes much easier. Building a new habit might seem like an act of willpower, but in truth, it's more about design than determination. The human brain runs on patterns. Once it learns a sequence of actions that leads to a reward, it repeats that pattern automatically. This is why habits are powerful. They allow you to act without constantly negotiating with yourself. To harness this natural mechanism, we can use the four-step formula made famous by James Clear in Atomic Habits: cue, craving, response, and reward. Understanding and mastering these 4 stages is how you turn an intentional act into an effortless habit. Every habit starts with a cue, a signal that triggers your brain to start the behavior. It could be a time of day, a location, an emotion, or even another action. For instance, seeing your running shoes by the door can remind you to go for a jog, or opening your laptop might signal it's time to start working. The key is to make the cue obvious. If your goal is to read more, keep a book on your pillow so you see it before sleeping. If you want to drink more water, place a full glass on your desk. You're not just relying on memory, you're shaping your environment to remind you of your intentions. After the cue comes the craving, the desire or motivation behind the action. This is where emotion enters the equation. We don't act because of the cue itself. We act because of what we expect to feel afterward. A craving could be the satisfaction of finishing a workout, the calm after meditation, or the pride of completing a task. To make habits stick, connect them to positive feelings. Instead of seeing exercise as punishment, view it as a gift to your body. Instead of treating studying as a burden, imagine the confidence and freedom that knowledge will bring. Emotion is the bridge between intention and action. Then comes the response, the actual behavior you perform. Many people fail here because they try to do too much too soon. The brain resists drastic change, so start small. If your goal is to write every day, start with just one paragraph. If you want to meditate, begin with 2 minutes. The smaller the habit, the less friction you face. Small actions done consistently matter far more than grand actions done occasionally. Consistency trains the brain to expect and execute the habit automatically. Finally, there is the reward, the positive reinforcement that tells your brain, this is worth repeating. Every time you feel satisfaction after completing a habit, dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, strengthens the loop. You can amplify this effect consciously by celebrating small wins. Smile after you finish your reading, check off a box in your habit tracker, or simply whisper, "Good job," to yourself. These micro-rewards build confidence and teach your mind to associate the habit with pleasure rather than obligation. Over time, these 4 elements, cue, craving, response, and reward, form a self-reinforcing loop. The more you repeat it, the more automatic it becomes. This is why successful people don't depend on motivation. They rely on systems. They understand that success is engineered through structure, not willpower. If you want to transform your habits, start by designing your loops consciously. Choose your cues wisely, fuel your cravings with meaning, keep your responses simple, and always celebrate your rewards. Do this long enough, and one day you'll find that the actions you once struggled to begin have become part of who you are. That is the science and the art of effortless success. No matter how strong your motivation is, it will eventually fade if your environment works against you. That's why one of the most powerful but underestimated factors in building successful habits is environment design. Human behavior is shaped more by surroundings than by sheer willpower. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And your systems live inside your environment. Think of your surroundings as silent forces constantly nudging your actions. Every object, sound, and person around you is either helping or hindering your habits. If you're trying to eat healthier but your kitchen is filled with processed snacks, you're fighting an uphill battle. If you want to focus but your phone is buzzing every 2 minutes, distraction becomes inevitable. On the other hand, if your space is designed with intention, with visual cues that encourage your desired actions, good habits begin to form almost naturally. To design an environment that supports success, start by making good habits obvious and bad habits invisible. Want to read more? Keep a book on your pillow or your desk where it catches your eye. Want to exercise regularly? Leave your workout clothes where you can see them as soon as you wake up. The more visible and convenient the habit cue is, the less energy your brain needs to act on it. Similarly, hide or remove cues that trigger bad habits. Move junk food out of sight, turn off unnecessary notifications, or rearrange your workspace to remove distractions. Out of sight truly can mean out of mind. Next, focus on friction, the amount of effort required to perform a habit. Reduce friction for the habits you want to adopt and increase it for the ones you want to quit. If you want to play the guitar more, keep it on a stand, not in its case. If you want to stop wasting time scrolling, sign out of social media apps or keep your phone in another room while working. These tiny adjustments may seem trivial, but they make a huge difference over time. The easier an action feels, the more likely you are to repeat it. Beyond physical space, social environment matters just as much. Surround yourself with people whose behavior reflects the habits you aspire to build. Motivation is contagious. If you spend time with people who value discipline, growth, and positivity, their energy becomes part of your atmosphere. On the contrary, if you spend too much time around negativity or complacency, it quietly shapes you in the same direction. Choose your circle intentionally. It's one of the most effective forms of environment design. Another crucial part of this process is creating a ritual space, a consistent place and context for each habit. For instance, if you always meditate in the same corner of your room, your brain starts associating that space with calm and focus. When you sit there, the behavior activates automatically. This concept, called context-dependent memory, helps you transition from intention to action with less resistance. Ultimately, the secret is to stop relying solely on discipline. Instead, build a world that makes good choices easy and bad ones difficult. When your environment is aligned with your goals, success becomes the path of least resistance. You don't need to fight temptation every day. You simply remove it from your line of sight. The best achievers aren't stronger than others. They're just smarter about where they place themselves. So take a moment to look around your life, your home, your workspace, your relationships. Ask yourself, does this environment support the person I want to become? If not, change it, even in small ways. Because when you master your surroundings, you master your habits. And when you master your habits, you master your destiny. At the heart of every lasting transformation lies one principle: consistency. Building successful habits isn't about doing something perfectly, it's about doing it persistently. The people who achieve great things aren't necessarily the most talented or disciplined. They're simply the ones who keep showing up day after day, even when it's hard, even when the results are invisible. True growth is built through steady rhythm, not bursts of intensity. In the beginning, consistency can feel dull. There's no immediate reward, no dramatic change. You might go to the gym for a week and see no visible difference, or start journaling and wonder if it's doing anything at all. But just like a seed under the soil, progress is taking place out of sight. The roots are growing before the leaves appear. If you give up too soon, you'll never see the bloom. Success belongs to those who stay patient long enough for their effort to compound. One of the biggest traps in habit formation is the all-or-nothing mentality, the belief that missing one day means failure. But real consistency is not perfection, it's resilience. Missing a single workout or study session doesn't destroy your progress. What truly matters is what happens next. Do you let one missed day become 2, 3, or a week? Or do you reset quickly and return to your routine? The never miss twice rule is a powerful mindset. It gives room for imperfection while protecting momentum. Another key to consistency is shifting your focus from results to process. When you're obsessed with outcomes, every small setback feels like defeat. But when you fall in love with the process, the daily act of improving, the journey itself becomes rewarding. It's the writer who finds joy in the rhythm of words, the athlete who embraces the grind of practice, the student who values learning more than grades. When you enjoy the act itself, you no longer need constant motivation to keep going. Building long-term consistency also requires forgiveness and self-compassion. You will stumble. You will have days when you feel unmotivated, tired, or distracted. That's part of being human. Instead of criticizing yourself, use those moments as reflection points. Ask, what triggered my lapse? How can I make it easier next time? Habits aren't about perfection. They're about progress. Every mistake is just data, guiding you to design better systems. Over time, the magic happens quietly. The actions you once forced yourself to do become automatic. You no longer try to meditate, you just do. You no longer have to eat well, it's simply how you live. Consistency transforms discipline into identity. The habit is no longer something outside of you. It's part of who you are. That's when success becomes effortless. Not because life gets easier, but because you've grown stronger. To sustain this rhythm, celebrate your persistence. Track your streaks, note small milestones, reward yourself for consistency rather than intensity. Remember, one brick laid every day eventually becomes a fortress. The key is not speed, but direction, not perfection, but persistence. In the end, success is not about doing extraordinary things once. It's about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well, again and again. When you choose consistency over perfection, you give yourself permission to grow, to evolve, and to become the person your habits are shaping you into. That is the quiet, steady path to lasting success. One step, one habit, one day at a time. Success doesn't come from what you do once. It comes from what you do every single day. Start small, repeat consistently, and make those actions part of who you are. Because habits don't just build results, they build your character. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to spread the power of positive habits and daily growth. Comment below, "I start changing today," and make this the first step of your transformation journey.